Listen, as much as people would like to spare Teofimo Lopez enough to give him the benefit of the doubt, he just always seems to find a way to go from corny to cringy to full-blown crash out. Like every time, it never fails. I don't know if he's just an attention seeker, if he's trolling, or if these are borderline cries for help, but something just seems all the way off about this guy's whole approach. So after pretty much race baiting with a deceitful play on words by replacing N with L, and later retracting what he did by claiming he used the word liquor to mock statements Terence Crawford made towards his father, Teofimo Sr., Lopez has now took all of that energy and directed it towards Canelo Alvarez and his longtime trainer, Eddie Reynoso. If you haven't already heard, Teofimo Lopez is now picking, and dare I say backing, Terence Crawford to be victorious against Canelo Alvarez in September. Lopez says the Canelo team didn't want him, but that it's not his fault. It's what the champ wanted. I'm guessing referring to Canelo. Tio then followed that up by saying, and I quote, "It's alright. I don't want to be heavy, flat-footed planet anyways. I'm a boxer. A pretty damn good one too." He also alluded to the fact that Crawford beating Canelo only makes it better for himself when he eventually faces Bud and beats him. Now, I for one believe almost every word of what this clown had to say. Let me just get that out the way now. However, after his race trolling, it was said that Tio could be getting stripped due to his recent comments towards Crawford. So I can also understand anyone who believes this is a PR move or a form of damage control by Team Lopez. I mean, why not say you're rooting for the black fighter after you've teased everyone into believing you're a racist prick? Especially considering the fact that Canelo is a fellow Latino fighter, the face of the sport, your idol, and the betting favorite against Terence Crawford. Yeah, if there's any way to stop the bleeding and the pitchforks from coming your way, going for Terence Crawford is definitely the safer choice at this point if you're Lopez. Not to mention, he hinted a few weeks ago that a fight between he and Jaron Ennis could possibly be on the Crawford-Canelo undercard. So although this could all just be Teofimo going into business for himself from a promotional standpoint, he now confirmed that the fight between him and Boots has been made, along with Turkey teasing the fight, and Eddie Hearn also claiming the negotiations are closing in for an August fight date. So that all but debunks Tio vs. Boots being on the September 13th undercard. Here's what gets me about Tio's recent change of heart regarding Crawford and Canelo though. I mean, outside of Teofimo feeling that Bud beating Canelo opens up some type of opportunity for himself, of course, the common assumption would be that he's saying this shit out of spite, you know? He's bitter towards Team Canelo. However, what if Tio actually thinks Crawford's gonna beat Canelo? I'm just saying, bro. All of a sudden, more and more fighters, trainers, even promoters have been doubling back to pick Crawford over Canelo. If you've really been paying attention, you gotta remember, the main reason everyone seems to be jumping ship on Canelo is because he couldn't cut off the ring against William Scull, which is basically what Lopez implied when picking Bud. And it's so crazy how for years we all knew Canelo had problems cutting off the ring, man. It was never really a secret, but at the same time, Canelo's no stranger to cutting the ring off. He's done it before now, against guys like Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant, and Jermell Charlo. I personally feel it depends more on the opponent he's facing. And with William Scull playing the ballerina, even if you believe Crawford will win, you can't tell me that you really expect Crawford to come out fighting that way, let alone getting a decision in that fashion. Just saying. It doesn't matter how many times Teddy Atlas or Shakur Stevenson point out how they believe Scull should have won that fight. That was no robbery, dog, and he did not beat Canelo. Listen, Mayweather beat Canelo. Laura arguably beat Canelo. And if you compare each of those three performances, neither of them looked the same. Mayweather was the cleanest and stood in a pocket more than either of them. Laura, although he was on his bicycle, was the most aggressive and might have been the most active out of the three, leaving William Scull, who did absolutely nothing but shoot his jab and move laterally. Come on, man. We know Crawford will be aggressive. We know Crawford will trade, being that it's one of his best attributes. And yeah, I'm sure he will play the ropes and move around here and there to use the weakness to his advantage, but I personally don't think Crawford being victorious over Canelo will depend on how well Canelo cuts the ring off. I don't believe that's going to be the deciding factor for this bout. I just don't. If Bud beats Canelo, it'll be due to him beating Canelo to the punch all night. But because Canelo has cut the ring off in the past, here's what I feel many are failing to take into consideration. Now, it's been said that maybe Crawford might have played possum against Madrimov in order to land this fight with Canelo, right? So how do we know that Canelo didn't just put on a mediocre performance as well in order to have Crawford going there overconfident on fight night? Not saying that's what he did, man. But I mean, hey, it's a possibility at this point. You know, the theory can be true for both fighters. Only time will tell. Pop off.